Hello. Okay, so this week we're starting out with Saturn, as I said, at 9 degrees of Capricorn, where he has been since the 5th of April, and he's going to sit there until May 2nd. So he's actually going to become stationary retrograde on the 16th and start moving backward on the 18th. But he's going to sit at that 9 degree mark for a very long time. Nine is in numerology a culmination of everything that's come before. It's like the finishing until, and we're ready to move into a new cycle. So, no coincidence that he will actually start moving backward at 9 degrees and 9 minutes of Capricorn. Then we've got Mars, Saturn, Pluto, and Lilith all traveling parallel by just 1 degree. They're all lined up, so as they aspect the Earth, those energies are seen as a conjunction. So you've got Saturn, the Lord of Karma, the Taskmaster. He's known as the gatekeeper because he doesn't allow us to move forward until all of our ducks are in a row and everything is set up and we've got our foundation secure, and then we can move forward. Once we do what Saturn would like us to do, Saturn blesses us and brings us opportunity and wealth, and I mean wealth of any kind, not just with money, abundance and gifts and blessings. And the whole idea in this lifetime is to work with the energy of Saturn, because otherwise it will work against us. So better to do what Saturn in your natal chart is talking about, perfecting. But that energy is with Lilith. Lilith is sitting conjunct just 1 degree this week. Vega. Vega is the brightest blue sky in the northern hemisphere. She's known as the goddess. I'm trying to think exactly the term. The goddess star. But I was actually talking to Mother Mary after I made the recording for last week. I didn't realize when I was doing it that she is, she's known as the Queen of the Angels or the Queen of Heaven, and Vega is like her kind of representation. Not coincidence then that Jesus was born at when we celebrate the winter solstice at the 0 point of Capricorn, and then she is in Capricorn. So I thought that was kind of neat. And then Pluto is not just death and destruction. Pluto is like the destroying of the old. It's the tower in tarot. So it's breaking down the old in order to start the new. It's the phoenix energy rising from the ashes. And then Mars, the planet of aggression, anger, war, also that forward motion, thrusting forward, action, ambition. All of those energies are traveling together through the sign that represents government. It represents all the structures of society, and also mountains, actual mountains on the earth in Capricorn. So we're still dealing with all of that energy. Then we've got Pallas Athena, Pallas Athene was the myth of Pallas is that, or Athena, is that she's born of her father Jupiter's forehead. She had no mother, so she was like the balance of the feminine and masculine. And she represents in astrology very straightforward truth. So it's interesting that she's parallel with Neptune, which can be deceit and lies. So I wouldn't be surprised if this week there's more truth telling, like things that we were told that aren't true, and now the facts are going to come out. She's very straightforward. She just wants the facts. She gives straight. She doesn't couch things carefully. She just kind of puts it out there, and then everyone just has to deal with it. And we've also got, and Neptune is sitting on Achernar. That was known by the ancients as the mouth of the river of stars in the constellation Euclid. Oh, shoot, you guys, you might want to look that up. It's EUC, and I don't remember how to pronounce it, but Achernar, where Neptune is sitting, was known to lead to other realms. So I really see that as with Neptune sitting there, that we have so much support from spirit now. You know, the transdimensional beings that we know as the angels, and then all of the light beings, star beings, just so much support pouring in that way, right there for you. Like, right, the veil is so thin right now. Ask for signs, ask for, you know, your guides to speak to you. It's really easy to hear things, and the signs are just everywhere right now, because they want us to know that we're fully supported, that they hear us, that they know what we're going through. This is very I don't know how to put that. It's just a very, everyone's feeling on edge and everyone's stressed out. You know, the sky is angry and the sky is sad. And whatever's going on, as above, so below, as within, so without. Whatever is happening in the stars and in the astrology are the energies that we're feeling individually and as a collective. So Chiron is sitting on sheets. Sheet is the fixed star that means extreme misfortune, but can also mean mental creativity. And Chiron this week is joined by Magdalene, the asteroid named for Mary Magdalene. And so, you know, look for that support coming to you from Pisces. That's a lot of water energy that we have going on. I almost feel like you can feel the water in the sky. Like, you can feel the water coming. It's like, and I wouldn't even say it's a heaviness, it's just water. You can feel that there's about to be a lot of moisture, I would say, is the way to put it. Because Chiron, you know, the anaretic degrees, the 29th degree of every sign is an anaretic degree. That's a 2 and a 9, that's an 11. 11 is the master number. It's things that if you have anything at a 29 degree mark in your chart, if it's a point or a planet, that's something that you've already mastered. But because you've already mastered it, usually you'll do a lot of healing for it in this lifetime. That's just the way that it works. And, you know, our ascended mastery is, you know, a 1 and a 1 is a 2. 2 is about balance. When we're able to live in our ascended master states, once we've come into balance with our feminine and masculine side, and, you know, we've got all of the elements of our life worked out into a balanced way, that's when we are living in our own ascended mastery. So we've got Chiron, the wounded healer, sitting at the end of Pisces. And this wound is something that's just running through the collective subconsciously. It's the wound of the belief that we're separated from God. So as Chiron is finishing up his 7 years in Pisces, when we've been working out our issues with the belief that we were separated from the Creator, that we're unworthy of being part of the Creator, that we're unworthy of the love of the Creator, he's getting ready then, while we finish that up, then he's going to move into Aries, and that's when we'll start working on the wound of the I am. So I'm going to be doing that video series this coming week with Jesus and Mary Magdalene, healing, about bringing the divine feminine and the divine masculine into balance, on doing a lot of healing really with the divine masculine, because Chiron will move into Aries on the 17th of April. So we're finishing that up this week. And then we've got Vesta. Vesta is up here. And Vesta is the aspect of the divine feminine that is about the Vestal virgins, that women worked in the temples, and they, like the teachings of Isis, which Anna, the grandmother of Jesus, was taught, was well versed in the teachings of Isis. So Mary, the mother of Jesus, also was Mary Magdalene, and a lot of these teachings went on in early Christianity and during the time of the Essenes. Before the church came in and destroyed all of those texts, or who knows, they're probably still in the Vatican, honestly. I haven't asked. But the teachings of Isis were about women using their sacral chakra to enlighten men, to heal men. You would get, your DNA would be changed and upgraded through sexual contact with the women that were known as the Vestal Virgins, and then they were also called whores. It wasn't a bad thing. It was taken away. That word was kind of made dirty by the men who didn't like how much power the women had. Vesta is going to be in Capricorn. She will come back into Sagittarius for quite a while, but she's going to spend almost the rest of the year in Capricorn. And I really feel like with this whole thing, with the dawning of the divine feminine on the planet, that this is about bringing her back into places of power. Capricorn is, like I said, the government, leadership, our how we're seen in the world, prestige. And so I found that also to be very interesting that she'll venture back into Sagittarius where she's going to be telling a lot of truth, but then she'll come back into Capricorn. So that's for the duration, for the rest of the year. That's what Vesta's going to be doing. And this week she is parallel the nodes of fate. So a parallel, like I said, that's the way that the planets aspect the Earth according to their declination. And so it's seen like a conjunction. So with her traveling along with the nodes of fate, I really think that there could be a lot of things happening with the Me Too movement, or just women in government or women in power having their say. So that's going to be for the duration of the week. And then we've got Sedna parallel the sun. Sedna, I'm not going to go into the whole myth of Sedna, but she is about water. She's about, an outpouring of emotion. And then we've got Pholus, which Pholus is like a turning point, like a change. And that's, in the individual natal charts, that always, you look for that in synastry with someone. But Pholus is contra-parallel, so almost like it's an opposition kind of energy to Uranus, who is still at the end of Aries, where he will be until the middle of May. That could be, some abrupt change, something that happens that's unusual, out of the ordinary, unexpected. Sunday, we will have the sun square the moon. So this weekend, the moon will be in Capricorn. The Capricorn moon is very serious. He's meeting up with Saturn. Well, first Vesta, then Saturn, then Lilith, Mars, then Lilith, and then Pluto. And so it's a good energy for getting a lot of things done. I notice when I'm on a cleaning spree, or I'm organizing things. It's not a Virgo moon. It's usually a Capricorn moon. So of course it could be because my Mars is in Capricorn. But anyway, moon in Capricorn, no matter where your moon or your Mars are, moon in Capricorn is a serious moon. And especially when she's coming up to conjunct all of these energies. The sun will move into a square. It won't perfect until Tuesday, but on Sunday we'll start feeling that the sun coming up to square that 90-degree angle with Pluto. So that we'll start feeling that on Sunday. Pluto is power and transformation. So the Jupiter is also going to be trining Pluto, and that's perfect almost the entire week. That happened for the first time the third week of January, and it will happen again the week of September 7th through the 13th. But, this because Jupiter has been answering to Pluto the whole time that he's been in Scorpio. We're kind of in that trine energy anyway, but, this could be a time when things come up for you that, had to do with the third week of January, and that might come up again for you in September. The moon will square. Eris is at 23 degrees of Aries. Eris is that divine feminine energy. She gets a bad rap of being super angry. She's about the continuation of the human race and nothing stopping her from making sure that the human race continues. She's very determined. And so the moon coming into a square with her and then Uranus can be a little bit of friction kind of in the air. That's Sunday night. The moon will enter Aquarius on Monday, and Venus will come into square the nodes. Venus will trine Mars Monday evening. So Venus trine Mars is a very nice energy. When I asked Archangel Metatron what he would like to say, if he had any pointers for the week, he pointed out Tuesday and Wednesday because he was saying that this was a very beautiful, very fertile energy. This Mars and Venus, the sky is, like I said, it's angry and stubborn when you get a lot of Earth and you got a lot of fire happening, and then Mars, fire in the Earth of Capricorn. That could be just a lot of, and with Mercury retrograde in Aries, the sign of the perpetual child, it can be a lot of, you know what I know, and I'm not going to budge. And you don't know what you're talking about. You better listen to me. But this is going to be a break. This Monday it starts, and then it goes through Tuesday, Wednesday, that we have the Venus trine Mars energy. Because we've got a lot of water with Neptune and Pisces. It almost doesn't even have to. I mean, this is going to be in a close aspect with these two at that time. So that's a lot of water, earth, and then fire it's a lot of energy for building, is what he's saying. Mars is forward momentum, making things happen. And even though it's Mercury retrograde, doesn't matter. It's whatever is supposed to go. As Metatron said, that it's never the wrong time to do the right thing. So whatever is blessed moving forward to move forward will move forward. Whatever is not won't, and that's true anytime. But this Mercury retrograde he's slowing down now, and he's getting ready to go direct at the end of the week or Sunday with that new moon in Aries. So the moon will meet up with the South Node then on Monday. That's a release energy. So, with this fertile energy that he's talking about that's mainly playing out Tuesday, Wednesday, it's a good time to let go of things that you're hanging on to. Moon is emotions. The South Node is the past or negativity. So maybe there's someone that you need to forgive, or maybe yourself, any kind of situation that's holding you back. I mean, at this point, really, with this week's astrology, and especially this weekend with the Venus squaring Saturn, relationships, things that are in your way are going to be removed either way. Tuesday, we've got the Sun squaring Pluto. So that's also, another, and then Venus trine Mars. But then the Sun squaring Pluto, I almost feel like it's not like, yeah, it's intense, but it's also an impetus for change, like a thrust forward, time to move on and do something different. And then the evening, the moon will sextile the sun and Jupiter. So that's a very nice energy, Tuesday evening. Wednesday, then that's the third day of that Mars trine Venus, that very harmonious. We've got, the representation of the feminine, the representation of the masculine, and that very easy trine energy. So it's also very romantic energy. The moon will move into, the sun is going to go past then Wednesday, those uncomfortable aspects. And when I asked Metatron about Wednesday, because it's the 11th, and typically the 11 days they can be like, kind of master days. But he said that it was filled with opportunities and blessings. So just say yes to accept that from the universe. Thursday, the moon will sextile Saturn. The moon will be here, sextiling Saturn. Venus will sextile Neptune. That's a nice energy. Then the moon will sextile Mars. He will come conjunct Neptune, and the sun will conjunct Aries. Thursday is a lot of movement. Thursday is a lot of, rocking and rolling kind of energy. That was the image that I was given when I asked about Thursday. Friday, the moon will conjunct Chiron, again on sheet. So that's a lot of emotion in the air on Friday. It will then come semi-sextile. So that's a 30-degree aspect to Uranus before he moves into Aries. It's Friday the 13th, and it seems like Friday is like a Friday the 13th, honestly. Saturday, Venus will trine Lilith, who is 1 degree then away from Vega. That's a very nice energy. Lilith is the divine feminine who didn't want to stay in the garden with Adam, who wanted her independence, didn't want to be told what to do. She wasn't going to put up with being treated as anything less than equal. And she still feels that way. And she's on Vega in the sign of government. She's hanging out with the big boys in Capricorn. Mars sextile Neptune. That's yeah, that's where you don't want to get into any arguments with anyone because everybody's going to think that they've got the answer, and probably the answer is not really that clear with the Mars sextile Neptune energy. The moon will conjunct Mercury at 4 degrees of Aries. He is already back then on Saturday to where he started his retrograde, or where he went into shadow. So he's back where he was on March 9th. So situations that have come up like since March 9th could be on the table again. He will station to go direct on the 15th with that new moon. So, and then the moon actually, and then the moon again will be here then, and it will square Saturn on Saturday. So again, next weekend looks like a big weekend. That new moon on Sunday the 15th is huge. It's conjunct Uranus. And then Venus will be moving into a trine with Pluto. So it's value, power, sex, money, control. Yeah, it's all on the table, is what he just said. So I'm going to do a new moon manifesting video for that new moon on the 15th. I haven't really gone over it with Archangel Metatron. I like to do that before I talk about it too much. But yeah, the new moon conjunct Uranus, like I was saying, if there's a situation or a circumstance in your life that no longer serves you and you've been putting off moving forward for fear or whatever it is that's holding you back, and it usually is fear that's holding us back, that's going to be removed for you. If you are in a place where you are uncomfortable, you know that you don't belong there, then the universe can come along and just move you. This is, we're dealing with very Uranian energies right now because Uranus is coming into the end of Aries, where he's been on fire now for 7 years, and he's getting ready, he actually went into Aries for a while in 2010, so about 8 years. And then he is getting ready to, in the middle of May, move into Taurus and answer to Venus. I wanted to mention, too, that when Archangel Metatron when I asked him about the Tuesday, Wednesday energy, he showed me the earth like a crevice, sort of opening in the earth. And he said that it was like a seed as it's getting ready to, the plant is going to come out of the buried seed. The seed has to crack. So he said it was like the earth was about to give birth to that divine feminine energy. So I'm not sure. I mean, typically, we don't get like exactly, dates. I mean, whenever, like the whole thing with the event, I was just sort of like, I mean, the event is going to be for a period of years. There could be from time to time during the time that Uranus is in Taurus, there could be will be events that are big events, but it isn't going to be like one thing happens and then everything turns around. This is going to be like a sustained period of change is what he's saying. So when he showed me that crack, this week I noticed 2 articles actually on Facebook, but they were legitimate articles. They weren't from weird websites. They were like, one was CNN and then one was BBC, I want to say, but I'm not sure. I know the difference between fake news and real news. I used to be so into politics. I used to pay a lot more attention to all of that stuff. But I know that the earth opened up in Kenya. And so if you want to Google those articles, and then the earth also opened up and a river actually started flowing through. It was in South America, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the country, but it reminded me of what he was saying when I asked him about Tuesday or Wednesday, and he showed me. But he did say it was a fertile energy, so that doesn't mean that necessarily, that's going to happen anywhere. He said it was gifts and blessings on hand or what did he say? Opportunities and blessings on Wednesday. So I think that'll be really nice for us this week. We've got that Venus and Mars traveling together almost throughout the entire week. So that'll be a welcome change to the roller coaster that I described last week. But, still Chiron sitting on sheet is a lot of sadness. It's a lot of sadness. And then there's a lot of fire and earth, that angry, stubborn energy. So our job really as being part of the light is just to hold space for the people who have no idea what's going on and are afraid. There's a lot of people out there who are afraid, who are very angry, who don't like what's going on, even whatever side you're on, in whatever culture, whatever country. There's just a lot of sad things happening all over the world to a lot of people. So our job is just to hold the energies, to rise above it. I am going to do the videos this week about the healing of the divine feminine and the divine masculine, and that will go on through the time that Uranus is in Taurus and Chiron is in Aries, because that time is going to be all about the balance of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. So I'm sure that a lot of us will have issues coming up through that whole time. And then even if it isn't for us individually, just for the planet, the healing for the planet that is coming, that will bring a lot of geographical changes, a lot of flooding, a lot of climate change catastrophe. A lot of people will leave the planet, and it's a very serious period that we're moving into. But this week looks like it will be much easier with that. Okay, I don't know. It'll be definitely a lot of things happening with that Venus trine Mars. That's going to be a really beneficial and sort of like a breather is what I'm hearing for us this week. And then that new moon is really, like, if you haven't taken off yet, if you haven't started doing that thing that you have been wanting to do for a very long time, this is it. This is when, change is happening, is what he said. Change is happening, ready or not, is what Archangel Metatron said. So anyway, have a great week. If you have any questions about your natal chart, or you would like to book a session with me, I do theta healing in relation to natal charts, but I also just do theta healing for people who don't have anything to do with astrology. And my website is astrologyforascension.com. My email is jennyb@astrologyforascension. My Instagram is stargirljen, and my Twitter is stargirljen, and my Facebook page is Astrology for Ascension. So anyway, if you have any questions, leave it in the comments or shoot me an email. Check out my website. Okay, have a great week. Bye-bye.